what's up, guys? This is a couples review. I'm Ashley.
And this is Hubby Hero.
Okay, so we're sticking to it. Two
Yeah, you
times
were
in.
wondering if I was going to say it.
Yep. We are going to do a review on Married at First Sight. New Orleans, season 11, episode 8.
8. This was a pivotal moment for somebody.
Yeah.
We'll have to tell you who it is a little bit later, but this was a turning point for somebody.
Okay, we're going to go couple by couple this time. Now we kind of got a rhythm of how we should go about this to make this a bit quicker. We're going to start with Olivia and Brett.
I pay attention to them, but
Mm-hmm.
I oftentimes find myself looking at stuff in the background because I still feel like they're the most boring couple.
Yeah,
period.
because they don't talk about anything except for how she makes more than him. I mean, that's kind of their whole thing now. Anytime the camera is on them, that's what is talked about. And it's really mainly because Brett always finds a way to mention it.
You know, I think he's the kind of guy that's always going to find some kind of an issue and make it an issue.
Yeah, because he doesn't say too much good.
No, he doesn't. Everything is always negative, and he really needs to pay a lot of attention to Bennett, and Amelia to try to get just that positive energy. Because I guarantee, now that they got done talking about their finances, I hope that is done. But I bet there's going to be something different.
Yeah, I agree. Brett met with his friend.
Yeah,
at the restaurant.
That was a little bit more interesting of a conversation.
What do you think about that?
I really like the friend. I really like that guy.
Yeah, right. He was staying positive.
He was staying positive, and he had a lot of good things to say. However, I do feel Brett, when he talked about Pastor Kyle stirring up drama.
Yeah, I don't think that he was stirring up drama. I kind of see it, I guess.
No, he was stirring up drama. He sat there and he made them. He made them fight, and then
How did he make them fight?
By asking them these questions. So, well, how do you feel about that? Well, how would you feel about something that they already know is already an issue? And so I understand, with this project, they have to kind of get to things quick and really get to see if this is really going to work. But
I will say, though, I kind of agree. But the part of me that doesn't agree that, he was trying to stir up drama is because he really asked everybody the same questions. He asked everybody if they spoke about finances, and not everybody had an argument about that because Amelia and Bennett, when he asked them, they were fine. It just happened to be that when he asked Olivia and Brett about finances, that was their issue. So he really asked all the couples the same type of questions. He asked them about sex. He asked them about or intimacy. He asked them about whether or not they talked about finances. It's just that everything he hit on, everybody had their own issue. You get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying.
So that's the only reason why I don't think, but I mean, it is TV, so they did definitely cut out the most interesting parts to show us. For sure.
I'm sure you're right. You know what I just noticed? I was just thinking about in that they now don't show all of the therapists as much on this season.
Yeah, like where are they?
They're around, really giving a lot of advice, and this time they're not. It's so weird.
I wonder why. Basically, it seems like what Brett came up with was there's some red flags, and that was all. He really didn't say anything good about, the conversation they went through or the differences they have. He was mostly like, oh, yes, definitely some red flags.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a negative person. And
I can see that.
I guarantee you next episode, he's going to have issues with something else. He's going to say, I don't know, you need to color your hair blonde.
Of course, he mentions again that she makes more money than him to his friend.
Yeah. He said, didn't he say that also to the group?
Yeah.
He said that to the group as well.
Yeah. Every time the scene is on him, that's the first thing that comes out of his mouth.
Woody got it right. He said, just get over it. Just get over it.
Right. It's not like Olivia is asking to do some outlandish, irresponsible things with her money. It's not like she's buying Gucci and stuff like that. she wants to have experiences. I think that's a regular thing for someone to want to do when they make the money to do it.
Oh, he's the kind of guy that'll be on his deathbed and then be looking and just wishing that he had done more with his
Right.
life outside of just having
That's
a
exactly
big
what'll happen.
portfolio.
he said he lives by a budget and that's what reasonable people do. I feel like the shade that he's throwing on Olivia is like it's uncalled for. So now you're saying that she's unreasonable. He's never really saying anything that's really good, even though I'm sure there are some good parts, you
Well,
know?
this talks really a whole lot about just their energy and who they are as
Yeah.
people. Olivia, does things to make more money so that she can do more things with that money.
Mm-hmm.
Brett doesn't make as much money because all he's doing is trying to save his money. So
Yeah.
he wouldn't take a job because it might cost him some gas money to get there because, he's over here trying to
Right.
budget every little thing.
Look, you're not meeting anybody. You're not meeting any potential business
Yeah, you
opportunities because
just
you're never wanting to
sitting
go
at
to
the
work.
house with your cat, feeding it, whatever
Right.
leftover tuna that you got.
Right. Because she already mentioned how when they got back from the honeymoon, they hadn't went anywhere since they've been back. All they do is like sit at home and pet the cats.
No, when you make money, you do things. Period.
Yeah.
And I bet you, I guarantee you, if Brett made some money, if Brett, made
He wouldn't be
$100,000 a
tripping.
year, no, he'd be like, oh yeah, we could do that because I
Yeah.
got enough money and that done. Yeah,
Yeah.
Brett needs Tony Robbins.
Who is that?
You don't know who
Oh,
Tony
wait.
Robbins is? He's that motivational speaker,
Yes, I do
and
know
he
who
helps
Tony
people
Robbins
really
is.
think, to motivate
Yeah.
them and to think different. He needs a mind shift. He needs
Yeah.
to realize that his life is more than just his portfolio.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
about the memories that he creates and the
Exactly.
opportunities that will come from those things.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Even when, they were at the house and he was cooking for them and Olivia decided to have him help her budget, really it was because she felt like I need to show you that I'm not just spending money crazy,
She did well. I
Yeah.
think she, but I also wrote and thought when you make a lot of money, when you make a decent amount of money, it's pretty easy to just kind of budget.
Yeah.
It's when you don't make a lot of money is when it's difficult to
Yeah.
budget because you're like, okay, well, I want this, but I can't. So I got to take from over here. She's like, well, whatever I want, I can just buy it.
Yeah.
So I don't really have to worry about that.
Yeah.
she's a little bit more smooth where
Yeah.
Brett's a little bit more rigid, like,
Right,
like a
exactly,
like
exactly.
like a little rat somewhere.
I felt that it was very big of her to even after that, situation they had with Pastor Cal and how he kind of like shaded her during that, saying she doesn't know how to budget. The fact that she, brought up him helping her again and they actually did it, I thought that was really big of her. I honestly did because the way he was acting, it was like, I don't want you to help me with anything because I thought he was a bit, I don't know, he's just shady.
Yeah.
Sarcastic. But I'm sure that vindicated him, that stroked his ego because I'm sure he felt like, yeah, see, she's asking me to budget because she doesn't know how to. So this should be the last time that he mentions that.
It should be.
He should feel vindicated by that scene right there.
That's why he's single. I guarantee you. And he needs this experiment, because the only way he's going to ever find a wife before he's 60 years old.
I'm just grateful I don't have those problems.
That's right. We ain't got them problems. We ain't got them kind of problems.
Right. So they have a housewarming party and they invite their friends and family. He seemed pretty comfortable. I mean, there wasn't anything major that happened. Was there?
Well, Brett seems a little fake in the way he laughs.
You think he was being obnoxious?
Well, that's who he is.
Yeah.
I think that's who he is. I think, he tries to put himself in positions to always one up people.
She did say that. She said when he's in front of his friends, that's his personality.
So he's basically different in front of his friends.
She did mention that. I remember. I think it was last episode.
See?
Yeah.
Then he's not really being authentic. How can you ever know how he really is? This is how you know. I think at something's going to happen at some point soon because I think he's always going to be negative. And when you're always negative and you're always thinking bad about a person, and it's for everybody, listen, if you're always thinking bad about a person, then you're not going to like them after a while because inside your brain, you're always saying something negative about them. Once you see that, he's really got to figure out how to, switch that and start just saying positive things, just because you don't even just force yourself to think positive things.
Yeah. I did want to mention her also saying to her friend that she was scared that she may have to move into his house when it's time for them to kind of.
Nah, they're gonna have to compromise
Because he owns his house and she rents hers, so it's kind of like he's probably gonna remember he was like he did so much work to even get his house. So I don't know. I kind of feel like it may be hard for her to get him to say, let's get a house together. Maybe he rent out the house that he owns. I don't know. I hope he'll be open to that, but something about him seems to me that he's not that open.
it's because he doesn't like her. It's
You
because
don't
he
think he likes her?
no. Because I mean, if he really did, and I think this is how Olivia should play it too, is that well, it's 45 minutes away from where I live.
Mhm.
Obviously, I love you and I want to be with you. So what we'll do is I'll spend my weekends here and I'll live over here. And when you're ready to sell this house so that we can move somewhere together, then we can compromise, move somewhere in the middle, take some of the money that you made from this house, Mr. Budgeter, and take some of the money that I make from my awesome job. And then we'll buy something that suits us both because nobody wants to live in a dirty, drab, dusty, old
Right.
man house.
Right. So
That house
you
needs to be
think
bulldozed and then rebuilt for her to want to live there.
Bet. I'm done with Olivia and Brett.
Yeah,
That's about it on
that's it.
them.
That's it.
All right. Okay, so now one of our favorite couples, the couple that is a breath of fresh air.
Amelia and Bennett. What can I say? Bennett really just kind of floats over society
Yeah.
and, just kind of looks down like you peasants who are worried about stupid shit.
Right.
I mean, stupid things that you
Right.
can't. Yeah, I
Right.
love Bennett's attitude,
Right.
and I think what's really awesome is that they are both of them are who they are
Yeah.
all the time. They could be around
Right.
family,
No, that's so
children,
true.
old
They are
people,
the
young
same
people themselves.
person.
They're the same people.
One thing that threw me off, though, this episode was when Bennett met with his friend
Mm.
who's like secretly in love with him or
Oh
something.
yeah, oh yeah. I
I
saw
was
that.
taken aback by that.
Yeah,
The way she was coming off, I can understand you not wanting your friend to move away because you're going to miss your friend, but she did it like on some other.
that just kind of speaks to the awesomeness of Bennett, I think,
Yeah, that's
because I think
true.
she is almost looking at it like, I think I missed my chance. I think
Right. Oh, I could. Oh,
this train
wow.
might have started, and I was sitting here in the in the waiting room.
Right. She said it'll be a void when he told her that he may be moving away. She was like, that'll be like a real big void.
Because I'm sure Bennett and the way he is with people. You probably feel a lot like you're at home. You feel
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
comfortable, and so she's not going to have that. Maybe she secretly loves him. I almost feel like Bennett and both Amelia. I just don't see no sexual energy coming from them in any way. They're probably really, really well matched together because they're probably the only couple that's ever been on Married at First Sight that probably doesn't require sex in a relationship.
True.
They seem to be very
What is it? Sapiosexual?
maybe I think
I
there's
think
a
that's what
term
it's
for it.
called.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so. They don't
I could
and
be
yeah,
wrong.
and and the only time they'll have sex is to procreate. And that's it. They'll do it and behind the laboratory with latex gloves and it'll
I
be
well,
quick and then that'll be it.
I see a little bit in them that I feel like they can get down if they want to.
I feel like I feel like I have kind of mixed sentiments about the whole thing. Like, I have mixed feelings about the idea of you following this person you just met and leaving the city.
F your feelings. I don't know. Like she said it as if she had like a say so.
Right, right, right,
Like I'm sure he cares about her, but I don't think he's gonna let her stop him.
right.
Because him and Amelia have like a strong
They
connection.
have a really strong connection. And I think
Yeah.
because they're both so positive with each other and they never throw out negative energy, that
Yeah.
the friend they would never work out to begin with because
Yeah.
she's more likely to throw out some negative energy
Yeah.
than Amelia ever would. I think, if that was Amelia talking to Bennett about another situation that he was in and they weren't together, then she would just be like, "Oh, that's awesome."
She's not like Amelia.
No, she's not like
I
Amelia
could
at all.
tell.
And
Yeah.
so one thing that I did really like was that mural
That's what
idea
I was
that they
just
had.
about to mention.
Were you?
At the housewarming party. I
Yeah.
thought that was a great idea to have all the people do a mural. Like, that would be an idea that we would take.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, like, I thought that was very creative. They're creative people. I loved it. I thought it was very unique and fun. So Bennett was outside during the housewarming talking to her friends, and he really just expressed how, he thinks that Amelia is great. She's generous. He feels like he's completely like committed, and he feels extremely confident about their relationship. I was just happy to hear him say that. The friend also feels, Amelia's friend also likes him, and Amelia's friend also sees that he's authentic. Like, her friend is like, yeah, I mean, this is great. I like him. He seems real and genuine. He sees the same thing that we see.
I believe that they're both being very authentic and genuine to who they are.
Amelia even says to her friend that she could be herself. When they were in her room, her guy friend, she mentioned that she also feels the same way he does. She's happy that she could be herself. She was like, look at this cool blanket he has. That blanket was fly.
Yeah, you did said you liked the blanket.
I would definitely get a blanket like that. That was a real fly blanket. I don't think I've seen a lot of blankets that fly.
Well, because those are the kind of blankets people make out of just different cloths and different things.
And you get it from like this really like unique boutique that only like certain type of people know about.
That's true.
Right. I think they're super dope. They're great. Nothing else to say. They're awesome.
I
think they'll make it. Looking forward to see what happens.
I really hope that they do. And I did want to say that I hope Bennett decides to move with Amelia.
I hope so too.
I think for that he'll grow.
They inspire me.
They are inspiring.
All right. That's Amelia and Bennett. We love them. Okay, so next we have Karen and Miles. So they're sitting together at the counter, and he's basically just expressing himself. Remember when the last episode, Pastor Cal asked him, what are your needs? Because he didn't want Miles to forget about what he needs, busy just focusing on Karen's needs.
Words of affirmation is important to me. So like, I don't really know what Karen's thinking at most times. Like, she's a very hard person to read. I think that me communicating my needs is important in that. You don't have to gas me up all the time. I'm not expecting that.
Just sometimes.
Yeah, but sometimes, let me know. Like, hey, you look nice today. Or like, hey, what's up? That's harder for you.
You look nice today. I like your haircut.
Thank you.
That's great. What the show does is kind of get them to, recognize an issue and then tackle it quickly.
Yeah.
And, and then, really start to build on what should be a solid relationship. Things that probably take couples a whole lot longer than 2 days to come back.
Think about asking in the first month.
Right.
Like, for me, I know I need to step it up. So yeah, it's something that I want to work on. I just hope that you see I'm trying to work on
it. I can see how this can work. I can see now how it's almost as if she's peeking over her wall. That she built. She's kind of looking over that wall and saying, okay, he's still there.
I think like I said on the last episode, I think that her crying also released a little bit for herself.
Yeah.
And his response to her crying.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I think that kind of helped a little bit.
I think in the next coming episodes, we're going to really see what looks like a real couple together.
Yeah, I'm so excited about that because I do want them to work. I think they opened up. I think they're just getting better with communicating, and I'm happy to see that. I really am. So they have a housewarming party, and Miles' sister takes Karen to the side, and they're talking or whatever. They're talking about Miles. They're talking about Karen and how she feels, and Karen mentions how, she's not used to all of that affection. And she also just says again that it takes her longer to kind of get comfortable. She says that she wants Miles to give her room to show affection. Like, she doesn't want him to smother her because it doesn't leave her any room to give to him. He's not giving her an opportunity for her to be the initiator because he's always.
Not at this point. I think if if Miles did that, there'd be no lovey-dovey nothing in the house at all.
Right. If he didn't do anything, right?
They walking past each other like Christina and Henry, if that was the case. Because if you're a nurturer, then you're going to be a nurturer regardless of what somebody else does.
Right.
And you're going to want somebody to love up on you because you want to love up on them.
Yeah.
And so she says, "Oh, well, I'm a nurturer and I'm a giver." I'm like,
I don't see that part in her, but maybe, I don't know, maybe she is in her other relationships, but I'm like, I don't even see a little bit of that.
You want to be. You know when she is?
What?
You know when she is?
When
the other guy is out running the streets. That's when she
feels like she has to be to keep somebody.
Yep, when she has to and she wants to, but the other guy is, here and he's there and he's not always around and he's not showing as much attention. That's when Karen kicks in, and then that's when she cares because her name is Karen. So it kicks in when she doesn't agree with something. Karen and I think her sister, when they were talking about that, they're expecting that the man is not as emotional and not as caring and not as nurturing as Miles generally gives.
Yeah.
And so because she's getting that from him, she just doesn't know when and where to do it.
Yeah.
And so I think it's just going to have to take some time. She's just going to have to appreciate it.
You're emotional and caring and attentive and affectionate, and you're also really masculine all in one. I think it's possible.
It's because I have two personalities. No, I'm joking. What do they call it? Dual personalities?
Right.
No. Psych. No, I'm awesome all the way around.
Yeah, you are.
So are you, baby.
You're extremely awesome. A lucky girl.
We didn't kiss Miles on the lips.
Is that on that card? It really does say that on the. Let me see.
Damn, shorty. How'd that make you feel? How'd that make you feel?
I'm a CDA.
Yeah, we out here. You're close to
Wait.
You said the producers. I'm like, who came up with those questions?
Oh, I think it was the producers.
That was needed because she probably wouldn't have done that. But I'm so glad that happened.
No,
and he needed that.
Yeah,
but I think that'll be good. I like where we are right now. I'm excited to see more. It just keeps progressing with them. Honestly, like every show, we've gotten a little more and a little more.
They get a little bit more comfortable, a little bit closer. She starts to peek over the wall, and then, she'll come back over it and be like, nah, not yet.
Right.
But I think, as time progresses, he'll be able to knock down a few breaks.
Exactly. Okay, so we then go to Amani and Woody in the kitchen.
Real life black love, baby. Can't shake that. It's like unmatched. It's direct, it's simple, it's easy. It's gonna have some trying times. It's gonna be some bumps and some hiccups down the line, but at the same time, if you're willing to try, then it'll be okay.
It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be
I feel it.
It already is great. I ain't looking back. No regrets.
Okay.
I'm happy with my life right now. I'm happy with you in my life right now. Can't be mad at them.
You gave me roses. You gave me, how many dozen? It was 4 dozen? Because it was 12 each, wasn't it?
4 dozen, 48 roses.
Randomly, you gave me 48 roses.
Mm-hmm.
A dozen for each reason. And he told me each reason. It was just so random. What she's thinking, I believe that she's also kind of feeling inside that she hopes that it's not like a too good to be true thing. She didn't say that, but I'm sure that's how she feels.
Yeah. Yep. Because
you think he could be running game?
Well, this looks like early onsets of game.
How it feels, yeah.
Of game. And that's good in a way because I call it also courting.
Mm-hmm.
I call it when you're being true to it.
Yeah.
You could use game to just try to get girls, as many girls as you can because you know what to say and you know how to behave around them in order to get the reaction you want. And so I say this looks like game, but that's still good because he's still showing interest and he still wants her to be attracted to him and he wants her to fall in love with him because maybe he's fallen in love with her already.
Yeah.
But like I always say, it's going to be, he just needs, if he's consistent, then
that's how you'll know.
That's how you'll know.
Yeah, that's the only way, really.
Mm-hmm.
So Woody's, when at the housewarming, when all the friends come over, Woody's friends even says that he seems to be committed because they could see a difference between single Woody and married Woody.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think also it could be a show thing because they're filming, so he really doesn't have as much time as he would. I think when the cameras are done, then and they really get into the regular flow of things, we'll continue to see. Um, when Woody was outside talking to the guys, he said that he feels like he's almost in love.
Yeah. I think you called it. It might be. You said nah, I called it
You
puppy
said
love.
puppy
I
love.
called
I
it
don't
puppy
think
love.
I was saying that I think it could be like, I mean, he's really genuinely never felt this way before. He's probably never even been pushed to like try to fall in. I don't know. I think I think he really thinks he's almost in love. Everything that he's saying, I feel like he really believes. This is what we want to see. We want to see Married at First Sight work, and I love them together. There was in the previews where he said that he was in love with her. Like he said it. And her response was kind of like, I don't know if I'm in love with you. You know, the they try to make it seem dramatic. Hopefully he doesn't really get too offended because I mean that's fair.
I think that's scaring me a little bit. I could see somebody saying, I think I'm falling in love with you, or I'm feeling like I'm falling in love with you.
Him saying he's in love?
Yeah,
I
because
can agree totally.
because really, if you've been in any amount of relationships in your life, you really want to protect your heart. It takes a little bit more time to say, oh, I'm absolutely in love with you because you haven't seen her in all her glory. And so it's going to take some time to say, okay, let me see her when she gets irritated. Let me see her when she gets upset. Let me see her when we're just sitting here and we don't have much to talk about because we've talked about so much. What is it like when I need space, or and she needs space, and all of these little things to say, okay, I definitely love this person because everything is everything for them. They've been together for now 2 weeks, and they've had the cameras around them for 6 to 8 hours a day, and so you're just in love with the idea that this is going so well, but when it gets down to it, is he really going to feel that way? So that should probably wait a little bit. I think when you've dated and you've been in relationships and you know what love feels like, then you're very guarded on that feeling because you want to make sure that that you're expressing that to somebody who you really mean it, because it's a really big thing to say that. You don't want to just throw that out there, to get somebody to want to be with you or want to say the same thing. You say it without even caring whether the other person say. I say it because I said it because I wanted you to know, regardless if I felt like you were going to say it back to me. I think I just wanted you to know how I was feeling and where I was going with this. And that way, if you felt like you could never love me, then you can get out now. Because don't have me feel this way. and then you gonna just leave. Don't you have me feel this way.
But that takes, I think, a confident man, a man who knows what he wants, who has no time for games. Like, this is what it is. What's up? Hopefully the next episode, when she doesn't say it back, it's not really that big of a deal.
Yeah, they're gonna be on a "We Stayed Together" reunion.
Yeah, we're claiming it.
Claiming it.
Okay, so last and maybe even least, Christina and Henry. Unbelievably, they gave us the most drama.
Yeah.
They gave us the most action. Can you believe it?
I'm actually a little bit proud of Henry.
I know.
A little proud.
He showed us something.
Yeah, he actually strung a whole sentence together that we could actually use a whole standing ovation.
Right.
But he showed a personality.
Yeah, he did a little bit.
Some glimpse. He has his person. He only has a little bit of personality, so he gave you, I think, all of what we're gonna get.
I love it.
That's it.
So they were talking in the kitchen the first time. She already, the first time that they went to her talking in the kitchen to him, she already kind of felt like she was over it. Seemed like she was irritated. She mentioned needing him to do more.
Well, listen, if I had to send some games to somebody, to one of them two, it wouldn't have been Henry. Right. I mean, Henry is just going to look at it turn his neck. Well, it's I think it's going to lean on her, and I think that's probably why the experts picked her, because Henry, I really believe Henry might be a little autistic, so he might have a little something going on, maybe a little bit of Tourette's in there.
He does have that. I think that was
some and just some social awkwardness when it comes to people.
She says she's initiating everything, which we see. She always mentions that even when, they were with all the girls together in the episode, she told the girls that like she's scared that she may always have to be the one to plan everything and be like the doer. And it's not usually in her nature to initiate things, but she feels like in this relationship, she'll have to be. She's scared about that.
She would, but this relationship really isn't going to go past 8 weeks.
So?
No, there's no way.
But they're like really different. Amani does give a little hope though. When the girls were meeting up and Christina said that, she was like, well, maybe you'll have to help him feel comfortable with being affectionate by being affectionate. She was trying to compare it to how Woody had to make her feel comfortable, but I just think they're just different.
I don't know. Christina, she's not a therapist, and she didn't sign up to have a patient for the rest of her life.
That's
and I think that's more or less where this is going. Henry is very difficult to deal with.
Christina,
you never.
I absolutely said thank you for.
Maybe my hearing's way off then.
I think that may be an issue. I mean, did you thank me for the $70 Mexican meal we had the other day? Did you thank me for the Michelin star meal?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I was happy that he stood up for himself in that conversation that they first had in the kitchen, and he did show a little bit of his personality.
He'd make the most patient person get impatient because he literally gives nothing. So I can even see someone who's naturally patient even getting impatient with Henry.
Yeah, that's why I say I wonder what Christina's motivation is. As somebody who is inherently impatient, she is one of the most impatient people that's been on this show. What's her motivation for even wanting to try to get it to work? She says to Henry, well, you don't have to stay, you can leave. So can you. If Henry can leave, then you can leave.
I think that's a little bit of also trusting the experts, because you kind of feel like there's a reason why they put me with this person. You're thinking that, the experts put you guys together for a reason, and so you want to try. Well, now, I mean, she's at the breaking point, although in the preview, it does show them at a dance class and they had like a cute moment. But I feel like that's why she's not walking out, and she's telling him he can walk out, because she feels like, I obviously want to try because I am trying, but now I'm tired of trying because you're not trying.
Right. And he's really not really trying, because I haven't really seen him even step out of his own comfort box. He stays in that box. He won't look at people dead in the eyes. He won't engage in conversations.
He has eye contact issues.
Yeah, but I get that. But unless it makes your eyes water or burst into flames, then you need to at least try. So maybe this is all an experiment with the therapist, because maybe for Christina, they're like, well, we're going to teach Christina patience, and we're going to teach Henry how to be a little bit more boisterous, and that it's okay, and how to look people in the eyes and how to communicate, because Christina is an over communicator. She will communicate all day long. However, I don't know if 8 weeks is going to be long enough, and I don't know if Henry has enough personality to keep her to have her stay when the cameras are gone.
For that though to work, like, two totally different people to come together and make it work, you have to communicate. Like, so he has to say openly, how he feels and what he needs more of, and vice versa. He's like not giving any type of communication, so nobody's really taking the step to learn from each other.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
I do think that they're probably going to both learn that in these 8 weeks a little bit. I mean, I'm starting to notice
stuck together.
Yeah, I mean, I'm noticing Christina be a little bit more patient, or at least having to deal with that, and it being thrown into her face. And and one thing that I really like what Christina did in this episode is when she got Henry to talk, she went with it. Didn't she? She kind of egged it on a little bit more.
Yeah, give it to me.
Yeah.
More.
Yell at me. Yell at me.
Right. Hit me. Oh, Lord. So they do the housewarming party and the friends come over. I guess it was cool. I mean, they showed us a clip of them playing. What was it? What game was they playing? Like, Would You Rather?
Would you rather? Yep.
He still was even kind of shy within that game.
And then he says something that you'll never be able to understand.
Yeah.
No, we tried.
Yeah,
we slowed it down.
Right.
Tried to figure it out.
I thought he was like, I was like, that guy's such a buzzkill. And then you're like, how dare you? 7 years later, you know, he helped me through one of the hardest things that I went through in my life. I lost my sister 2 years ago, and he is a huge part of my healing process and like really being there for me. So when people think he's unemotional or doesn't like, he is. Wow. Yeah. Wow.
I think the friend said that Henry is a buzzkill, and he's great when you need him.
He's a great friend.
He's a great friend, which is, you know,
this is not what they're here for.
No,
right.
They're not.
Right. So anything else about so when Henry was together with her family and friends, again, like I said, like the friend said, he is exhausting. Like, you know, her guy friend, Christina's guy friend told Henry, like, you gotta just be in the moment.
One thing that I did notice though about Christina and even Henry is that they're really pretty negative people, especially Christina. She's very, anytime something has to be said, it's in a very negative tone, which is literally the polar opposite from Amelia and Bennett. How they're always positive. This couple is always negative.
But they also have a totally different experience because there is no chemistry between Christina and Henry. So it could also be that Christina is so irritated, she has nothing positive to say because the things that are most important to her, she's not even getting a little bit of what's important to her. Well, not to say that's any reason to be negative, but I feel like they are so different.
It makes you really wonder, you know, that they didn't match them because they thought that they would mesh well. I think they put them together really for conflict. They would never spend more than 15 minutes together. And so this is really kind of a sad thing for Christina if she was really getting into this for the possibility of love and relationship. Maybe they just didn't like Christina so much. They were like, we finna give her Henry. We finna give her Henry. I don't know what he's doing, but this isn't going to work. Nope. This isn't going to work. This is probably the worst couple, not people specifically. I think there's probably a worse person. Yeah, but worse chemistry, worse match.
Worst match.
I don't know what Married at First Sight was thinking about when they matched them together. However, this season overall, in my opinion, they matched the best.
Yeah, better than a lot of the other seasons. The last scene when they were in the kitchen again, and you see Christina like taking out some fish or whatever, and she, I guess, tries to bring up conversations. I know you mentioned she probably Googles what questions to ask because she's like, she doesn't know what to say because everything's like on her.
Yeah, well, yeah. What questions do you ask a person that's shy?
Right.
You know, so she asks him, you know, so give me a childhood memory. And Henry couldn't even really give a good childhood. He said, oh, well, me and my brother, we used to argue. I don't really know why. Yeah. And then he got quiet. However, I think Christina should have followed up with, well, what kind of stuff did you guys used to argue about? Did you guys used to fight? You know, I don't know if she knows the age range between her brother and his brother.
That is right. I think she's just so irritated. She's not really looking at herself to see how she could just communicate better just within herself. Not even just for him. Then she out of nowhere looks at the producers and like, are y'all going to give me a list of questions? Like, cause this is difficult. You know, it's getting difficult to talk to him. Yeah. I mean, I believe she'll have a dialogue, but I could see like I think she kind of just tested him. Like when they sat down and ate, she's like, I'm going to sit and say nothing because I always am the first person to talk. This time I'm not going to say nothing. and look. Now we're sitting here quiet, looking awkward.
Yeah, that's why I say it's not going to work because, this negative thinking, this negative attitude is just going to progress. And every time something happens, it's going to go back to how she feels now.
Yeah.
And that's just going to snowball into more and more negative feelings.
She walked away, was like, I got to go to the bathroom. She had to take a breather, I'm sure. She came back. He had food hanging out his mouth. Then he got up and walked away. And in the hallway, he's like, I'm done. And you were like, you never started.
Yeah, you never. Anyway.
Yeah. They're not gonna, I don't see them working. That's that on that. Guys, thank you so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed.
Absolutely. Make sure you like,
comment,
and subscribe.
Yeah. And wait, what do we say?
Oh.
Just because you can't see us
doesn't mean we're not keeping it real.
That's so funny. All right, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.